lovelies, it's Scent Gourmand Trina. How you doing? It's been a while. Yeah, my camera broke, so I'm looking forward to seeing how different, if different at all, my new camera is going to be. And if you want to know what I bought, perhaps I'll talk about it in the description box because I don't want to talk about that here. I think the reason though for my long wait has not been the camera. I can't use that as an excuse. I've just actually been busy at work, so apologies for not getting on camera for you all. You know how it is, 9 to 5 is never exactly 9 to 5. Anyway, today I decided to get around to talking about Jimmy Choo, Jimmy Choo 2. This one here, the first one, is an eau de parfum released in 2011 and created by master perfumer Olivier Polge. That guy rarely makes a boo-boo, you know? And indeed, when this juice housed in an elegant grenade glass bottle came out over a decade ago now, I was gaga over it. I tend to enjoy gourmands, and this indeed is a sweet treat, although I believe it's classified as a fruity chypre. Now true, it's not quite edible. Actually, what it is a fruit chili, and here are the notes. Simple enough list of notes, yeah? And yes, my take on it is simple too. This is essentially a warmed pear flesh drizzled in a granular sugary toffee poured over a leafy patchouli base. I love all of those notes in of themselves, although patchouli is a note I can get fussy about at times. But together these notes blend into one enticing mix of loveliness. I especially love the pear note. It's one of my favorite fruits next to watermelon. And when I say pear, I don't mean Asian pears, which are round, crisp, and light. This one has the note of Western pear or butter pear, known as La France pears here in Japan. The ones with higher sugar content, less water, and more flesh, and a softness rather than crispiness to them. They come in that rich, distinctive Pear de France aroma and taste too. Love. However, this is not a scent that I can reach for when heading out to the office. It's simply too sweet. And honestly, one or two colleagues that come to mind would definitely get headaches if I were to approach their space wearing too much of this. Perhaps it's a good job then that this only lasts a few hours for those days when I do pull it out. Jimmy Choo gets 2 big minus points from me then. If the lasting power were improved and a few heaping tablespoons of sugar were removed, this scent would be greatly elevated. For me personally though, I find it too saccharine. It's rich and candy-like, but not quite 100% into juvenile territory. Although the sugar doesn't obfuscate all the sensuality in the fragrance, it is girly, so I'll give it that. And no, refined and sophisticated are not words I would align with this scent easily. It is unpretentious though, and it's yummy. Perhaps I can add a third minus point to this as well. As a fruit chili, it's a designer mainstream fragrance that suffers from its popularity. It's too sweet, too fruity, too much patchouli, too everywhere. So if you want to be unique, I wouldn't recommend this scent to you. But I do want to say a word in defense of patchouli here. Patchouli is a divisive note, but if you ask me, it's notes like patchouli that balance out the overly pretty and sweet notes in a fragrance. Rotting organic matter like indolic petals and oud and substances from animal glands, butyric acid, fecal matter, whale vomit, all these things give fragrance, believe it or not, a sexiness or a sensuality or a va-va-voom or je ne sais quoi, you know what I mean? So please don't poo-poo the patchouli. Perfumery would be unsavory and sanitized without such notes. But it's interesting how the patchouli is front and center here, yet this fragrance isn't as polarizing, I think, as it could have been. Perhaps it's the type or quantity of patchouli note that's used here, but I think it comes down to Olivier Polge's blending magic. With all the minus points, you'd think I wouldn't recommend this one, but actually I still reach for it. And that's mostly due to the pear, which you will get to after enduring the first few minutes of synthetic migraine strength sweetness at the top, which you'll also have to suffer through when you reapply a few hours later. And if you do like sweet scents from Mugler and YSL or something like La Vie est Belle from Lancôme, then you'll probably like this too. The obvious comparison to me is Victor and Rolf's Flower Bomb, which also embraces the grenade concept and which was released 6 years prior. So was Jimmy Choo copying with regards to the flacon at least? Or is it just coincidence? Or maybe beyond the basic bottle shape, they really are different enough from each other. Opinions may differ here, but my personal opinion is that companies will emulate what has already proven successful. Note that Olivier Polge was also a perfumer for Flower Bomb, so I guess the similarities in smell shouldn't be surprising, although that one has more fruit and, as the name indicates, more florals. Jimmy Choo co-founder Tamara Mellon has had no small part in the bottle design, I'm told, and for your information, she has started a second eponymous brand if shoes are your thing. Jimmy Choo by Jimmy Choo has a few flankers, some of which are different enough to be their own fragrance. If the bottle is different enough, then my guess is so is the juice it contains. This one here is Jimmy Choo Exotic, of which there are 3 versions apparently. This is the 2014 edition, and the DNA is indeed similar to the original. Here are the notes for this one. This version of Jimmy Choo Exotic is lighter and airier than its parent, who's definitely heavier and thicker, which is unsurprising just in the fact that actually this is an EDT and not an EDP. And the pair that makes the original so grand is missing. And even though I do appreciate berries, this one will soon be escaping my shelf, I think, because I think it's a bit of redundancy to have them. This one is the pair that I love. This one isn't, although it's good. They're just too similar. I can't justify keeping both of them, and I won't go through it very quickly, so bye-bye. Both these fragrances are versatile, but I don't recommend them for hot and humid weather. But they could be formal and night appropriate for some people, as well as for daytime weekend wear, which is when I generally reach for this. I tend to enjoy sweet fragrances outdoors at social events when the air is cool, or at least not warm. Now I have the 100 ml bottles of these concoctions, and although they used to be offered in 40 ml versions in addition to the 100, you can probably get them in also the common 30 and 50 ml formats now. That's my guess anyway. And surely they have the usual body lotions and shower gels to go with them. Maybe some powders too, who knows. Now, since this fragrance has been out for a while, the good thing is that if you shop around, you should be able to find some great discounts. Or do what I do and just buy secondhand. I think I paid the equivalent of $15 US for each of these in an online peer-to-peer marketplace here in Japan. I'm lucky for that. For that price, you can't go wrong. Maybe I will keep this one. I just have so much perfume. I'm blessed. Okay, my lovelies, Scent Gourmand signing out. I'll see you hopefully sooner than later. Bye-bye.